Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's get you the day's top headlines. India and Portugal signed 7 agreements to boost cooperation in various fields. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Portugal President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa hold extensive talks on strengthening bilateral ties. Visiting Portuguese President also meets President Kovind and Vice President Venkaiah Naidu. Government can take more steps beyond budget announcement to boost economic activity, assures Nirmala Sitharaman. Meets industry professionals in the budget and beyond program. The Finance Minister also informs that process to acquire PAN card is being simplified. Supreme Court warns of contempt proceedings against telecom companies including Vodafone and Airtel for failure to pay up dues. Department of Telecommunications issues notice to companies to pay the outstanding amount of 1,47,000 crores by midnight. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu talks about the need to increase productivity of small and medium farmers, urges agricultural scientists to encourage anti-climatic farming at the 58th Convocation Ceremony of Indian Agricultural Research Institute. And 6 health workers in China died due to coronavirus infection. 1,700 other caregivers also infected. Death toll from the outbreak in China crosses 1,480. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Portuguese President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa held extensive talks on Friday, exploring ways to deepen bilateral ties in a range of areas, including trade and investment. De Sousa arrived in New Delhi on Thursday night on a 4-day visit, his first to India. According to officials, the talks between both the leaders covered entire expanse of bilateral ties, including in areas of trade, investment and education. The Portuguese president is accompanied by a high-level delegation. Soon after the bilateral talks, India and Portugal signed 7 agreements to boost cooperation in a range of areas, including investment, transport, ports, culture, and industrial and intellectual property rights. The pacts provide for cooperation in areas of investment, transport, ports, culture, and industrial and intellectual property rights, as we told you. Portugal is an important country for India in southern Europe, and bilateral ties have witnessed steady progress in the last 15 years. MEA spokesperson Ravish Kumar said Prime Minister Modi and President de Sousa had excellent discussions covering the broad canvas of India-Portugal partnership by leveraging the complementary strengths across different sectors. And President Ramnath Kovind hosted a banquet dinner in the honor of Portuguese President at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Addressing a joint statement, President Kovind said that India and Portugal have exchanged 14 agreements and understandings, adding that the collaboration in the field of science and technology is making new headway.
Our bilateral economic ties are on the rise. In our discussions today, President Marcelo and I were happy to note that our bilateral trade has crossed $1 billion. Two-way investments are also rising. We agreed to harness the full potential of bilateral engagement in sectors like infrastructure, blue economy, renewable energy, water and waste management, IT, tourism and hospitality.
Earlier in the day, the Portuguese president was given a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. He was also accorded the Guard of Honour. After the ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the Portuguese president visited Rajghat to pay tribute to Mahatma Gandhi. Union Shipping Minister Mansukh Mandavia accompanied him during the visit. D'Souza is scheduled to travel to Maharashtra and Goa as well during this visit. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also called on the President of Portugal, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, and during the meet, discussions to further strengthen bilateral relations between both countries were held. Besides, a delegation of MPs from Portugal met Bhupendra Yadav, chairman of a department-related parliamentary standing committee of Rajya Sabha, on Friday. Several other MPs of Rajya Sabha were also present during the meeting. The delegates from both sides discussed various issues, with Bhupendra Yadav saying that the relationship between India and Portugal is very important from a cultural as well as economic perspective. The two countries work in mutual cooperation in several fields, including trade, transportation, culture, investment, and intellectual property. In some other news, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said on Friday that the government is willing to accommodate feedback given by economists and industry experts while making changes in the Union Budget 2020-21. She also said that the process of obtaining PAN card will be made simpler.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman held an interactive session on budget and beyond with professionals from asset management, wealth advisory, tax consultancy and other related industries at the Niti Aayog on Friday. She told those assembled that the government was open to suggestions.
I was extremely glad that the monetary policy didn't bring a myopic view for the RBI. It also has extended some kind of the liquidity availability, given them some kind of a concessions, made EC liquidity available for them to get that, particularly mentioning the sectors, so real estate and auto components. So if there's more, please let us know. I also think we made a mention that there will be a tax holiday extension for the real estate promoters in our budget speech also. So the tax holiday that promoters enjoyed till probably 31st March now is extended 12 more months.
The Finance Minister said the immediate feedback on the Union Budget 2020-21 has been motivating with a positive impact on currency, bond and equity markets.
It is one budget where the impact on the equity market, the bond market and also the currency have had a positive impact. In that the currency market remained stable, the bond market's yields cooled off and the equity was positive. So I want to take that as a motivating immediate fallout. But of course we are open to hear a lot more from all of you also, that as and when the tweakings will have to happen to the budget, or as and when more has to be done beyond the budget, post the budget, we are willing.
The Finance Minister will be on a 2-day official visit to Hyderabad and Bengaluru on February 16th and 17th. She will hold interactive sessions with various stakeholders in both cities. In the longest union budget speech in history, Sitharaman talked about the tax regime, finance, agriculture, irrigation, water, sanitation, healthcare, education, infrastructure, women and digital connectivity, among other things. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called upon the scientific community to lay emphasis on enhancing the productivity of small and marginal farmers. Addressing the 58th convocation of the Indian Agricultural Research Institute in New Delhi, the Vice President asked researchers to develop high-yielding, disease-resistant and nutrient-rich varieties of crops. He also called for immediate steps to curb malnutrition and hidden hunger on a war footing. He also said that research institutions such as the IARI serve the country through scientific advancements and innovations in agriculture. Stating that all efforts must be made to double the income of farmers in the next few years, the Vice President stressed on the need for diversifying traditional cropping systems to reduce economic risk while increasing the scope for higher profitability.
The focus of every endeavor has to be on improving the lives of the people, particularly the marginalized sections, and increasing development is the need of the hour. Therefore, I urge you to lay emphasis on enhancing the productivity of small and marginal farmers. As you are all aware, the small and marginal farmers are the most vulnerable to agrarian challenges and their welfare must be accorded highest priority. कृषि जनगणना के अनुसार भारत में कुल कृषि योग्य जोतों की संख्या 138.35 138.35 मिलियन है, जिनका औसत क्षेत्रफल 1.15 हेक्टेयर है। इन जोतों में से 85% वो सीमांत तथा लघु जोतों है, जिनका क्षेत्रफल पर हेक्टेयर 2 हेक्टेयर से भी कम है। ये छोटी जोते जिनमें महज 44% 44% क्षेत्र फल पर खेती होती है, देश की खाद्यान्न और पोषण सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करती है। आज जब सरकार आगामी कुछ वर्षों में किसानों की आमदनी दुगनी करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है, आवश्यक है कि कृषि उत्पादकता बढ़ाने के लिए समन्वित प्रयास किया जाए। सही नीतियां, तकनीक तथा समन्वित संस्थागत सहयोग कृषि क्षेत्र में आमूलचूल बदलाव लाने तथा उसे स्थायी रूप से लाभकारी बनाने के लिए आवश्यक है। I always been stressing on the need for diversifying traditional cropping patterns as it would reduce economic risk while increasing the scope for higher profitability. इसके अलावा समेकित कृषि जिसमें फसल, मछली पालन, सब्जी उत्पादन, पशुपालन जैसी विभिन्न कृषि संबंध उद्यमी शामिल हो, कृषि क्षेत्र में साल भर रोजगार और आमदनी उपलब्ध करा सकते हैं। पारंपरिक फसलों से अलग कृषि में विविधीकरण का तथा कृषि से संबंधित व्यवसाय किसानों को वो सक्षमता प्रदान कर सकते हैं, जिससे वे किसी प्राकृतिक अनहोनी का भी सामना कर सकें।
And the Vice President also interacted with Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal and other officials of the ministry in New Delhi on Friday. And during the meeting, the Vice President inquired about the progress of various projects in Andhra Pradesh and also in Telangana. He advised officials to expedite the completion of all ongoing projects, also suggesting them to hold review meetings with the officials of both state governments, identify the problems, if any, in the execution of the projects as well. The officials informed the Vice President that they would coordinate with respective state governments. Over 150 people living in unauthorized colonies in Delhi have received ownership rights till date. Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri gave conveyance deed to around 34 people living in unauthorized colonies, taking the total number to 151. The minister said that 20 people were given the conveyance deeds on the 3rd of January, adding that around 2,15,000 people have applied online for registration. He also informed that a mechanism will be devised soon for simplifying registration process. According to the minister, these 34 beneficiaries would be eligible to avail bank loans as well.
Every morning I've been monitoring this, every morning, all right, for about half an hour, 1 hour. Producing the control norms, as I said, will be completed by end of this month. Is correct?
Sir, approvals will take more time.
No, we are preparing. We'll have to process it, it has to go through different process. But we'll finalize the control norms in more or less a final approximation state. Uske baad we take approval, layout plans will be made, master plan amendment done. We are doing it absolutely as a top priority. That's the point I'm making.
TDP MP K. Ravindra Kumar has written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi against Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y. Jagan Mohan Reddy's proposal to have multiple capitals for the state. In his letter, Kumar highlighted what he called the disastrous consequences of Chief Minister Jagan Reddy's idea, calling the proposal an ill-conceived misadventure that will have far-reaching implications for the unity and integrity of India. Kumar said the idea should be nipped in the bud. Kumar also underscored administrative problems for the country that would be posed if similar demands for multiple capitals were to be raised by other geographically and culturally more diverse states, accentuated by regional economic inequalities. The MP also questioned in his letter the Andhra Pradesh government's recommendation to abolish the Legislative Council after it decided to refer the Multiple Capitals Bill to a select committee for detailed consideration. Time for a short break here. More news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. The Supreme Court on Friday warned of contempt proceedings against telecom companies, including Vodafone and Airtel, for failure to pay up dues. Following which, the Department of Telecommunications issued an order to the telecom companies to pay the outstanding amount of 1,47,000 crore rupees by midnight. Following the Supreme Court rap, the Telecom Department withdrew its 23rd January order that had called for no coercive action against defaulting firms and started issuing notices to the telecom companies asking them to deposit dues before midnight on Friday. The Apex Court, remember, had earlier set 23rd of January 2020 as the deadline for payment of dues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to visit Varanasi on Sunday. During the visit, the Prime Minister will inaugurate over 30 projects, including a 430-bed super speciality government hospital at BHU. He will also participate in the closing ceremony of the centenary celebrations of Jagadguru Vishwaradhya Gurukul. He will also dedicate the Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Memorial Centre to the country, also unveil the 63-feet statue of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. In fact, the Prime Minister will also flag off IRCTC's Mahakal Express through video link. The train will connect 3 Jyotirling pilgrim centres, Varanasi, Ujjain and Omkareshwar. He is also scheduled to inaugurate Kashi Ek Roop Anek program. The event will showcase products from all across Uttar Pradesh. And later, the Prime Minister will also interact with buyers and artisans coming from different countries, including the US, England and Australia. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla attended the closing ceremony of the 35th International Training Programme in Legislative Drafting organized by the Parliamentary Research and Training Institute for Democracies. The Speaker said that this training program of legislative drafting will prove useful for the trainees. He also said the goal of lawmaking should be socio-political and economic upliftment of the people. And in this context, effective legislative drafting plays a very important role. Om Birla also said that in a rapidly globalizing world, it is necessary that all countries work together for peace, security and development in an environment of mutual trust and cooperation, and that India is constantly making efforts in this direction. 40 participants from 26 countries participated in the one-month-long program.
एक अच्छे कानून बनाकर देश को, जनता को उस कानून के माध्यम से उनको न्याय मिल सके, अधिकार मिल सके और कानून की जिंदगी को बेहतर करने के लिए हो।
The Deputy Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, O. Panneerselvam, presented a nearly 2.41 lakh crore rupees state budget on Friday. He presented the budget in the State Legislative Assembly in Chennai. He said the smart card holders in Tamil Nadu can get their ration items from any of the ration shops within the state. He also informed that the allocation for school education is 34,182 crore rupees and for health it is 15,863 crore rupees. Panneerselvam also announced that crop loan of 11,000 crore rupees would be given to farmers next year through cooperatives. 10,276 new police personnel will be recruited next year. He also said the state has clocked a growth rate of 7.27% and expressed confidence that the figure would increase further in the current year. The Supreme Court on Friday dismissed death row convict Vinay Sharma's plea in the Nirbhaya gang rape and murder case. Sharma had challenged rejection of his mercy petition by the President in the court, asserting that there was no ground for judicial review of rejection of mercy petition. A bench of Justices R. Bhanumati, Ashok Bhushan and A.S. Bopanna rejected his plea. The Apex Court also rejected contention of Vinay Sharma that he is mentally ill and said his medical report suggests he is completely stable. The Sessions Court on the 31st of January had stayed the execution of the 4 convicts in the case until further orders. The official death toll from the novel coronavirus outbreak in Hubei province in China rose by 121 on Friday, bringing the total death toll to nearly 1,500. The Hubei Provincial Health Commission said on Friday that nearly 5,000 new confirmed cases were reported. The National Health Commission also said the total number of confirmed coronavirus cases on national level soared up to 65,000. Most of the deaths occurred in Wuhan, the province's capital, where the coronavirus is believed to have originated. The increase in cases came after health authorities started counting cases diagnosed through new clinical methods. At least 27 more countries have confirmed cases and several countries have evacuated their citizens from Hubei. 3 deaths have been recorded outside China, 1 in Hong Kong, 1 in the Philippines and 1 in Japan. The World Health Organization has warned the virus poses a grave threat to the world. The country today remembered the martyrs of Pulwama attack who made the supreme sacrifice in a dastardly terrorist attack last year. 40 CRPF personnel were martyred when their convoy on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway was attacked by a vehicle-borne suicide bomber in Pulwama last year. In Jammu, a memorial for the 40 CRPF personnel was inaugurated at the Lethpora camp. The names of all 40 personnel along with their pictures are part of the memorial, along with the motto of CRPF, Seva and Nishtha, which means service and loyalty. Umesh Gopinath Jadhav from Maharashtra was the special guest at the wreath-laying ceremony at CRPF campus in Lethpora. President Ramnath Kovind said in a Twitter message that a grateful country salutes the supreme sacrifice of its brave soldiers. He also said India remains firm in its resolve to defeat and eliminate terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also took to Twitter and said that the martyred soldiers were exceptional individuals who devoted their lives to serving and protecting the nation. He added that India will never forget their martyrdom. Home Minister Amit Shah and also Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also paid homage to the martyrs of the Pulwama attack. And let's now get you some news about environment and climate change. The planet recorded its hottest January in history in 2020. Global land and ocean temperatures in January exceeded all recorded temperatures in past 141 years. Record hot temperatures were seen in parts of Central and South America, Asia, Scandinavia, the Indian and Atlantic Oceans, and also the Central and Western Pacific Ocean. Temperatures continue to rise as carbon dioxide emissions trap heat in the atmosphere and warm the planet further. The past 5 years have been the 5 hottest on record, and the past decade was also the hottest on record. 2020 will likely rank among the 5 warmest years on record. UN scientists warn that this increase could trigger a global food crisis, flooding, heat waves, and also displacement of millions of people. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you for your time.